What's going on, Alabama fans? What a day it was here on the early signing day. Alabama ended up making it official with 20 new commitments to Alabama's 2026 recruiting class. We're going to go over everybody who made it official, signed that letter of intent, and some guys that ended up flipping, and also one player that Alabama's trying to flip who ended up moving his signing day back. We're going to go over all that here on today's show. Before we get into it, though, we have two channels here at Chat Sports for College Football who are playing in their conference championship games, the Alabama Football Report and the Ohio State Football Report, going up in a sub-battle against them this week during our conference championship game. So I want to show the bosses who has the best fan base here among all the college football channels here at Chat Sports. Make sure you guys hit that sub button, and let's win that subscriber battle against Billy Beebe in the Ohio State Football Report. All right, so today, Alabama signed 20 new commitments in their 2026 recruiting class. There was some jumping around in the recruiting rankings here today with a couple of those, 3 stars that ended up flipping from Alabama. You also had Tennessee jump up a little bit, and USC just went absolutely crazy. 35 commitments for them. I think it was even, they're not in the top 10, but North Carolina had like 40 commitments or something like that. Absolutely insane for them. But after the latest flip here from an Alabama commit that we'll get to at the back half of today's show, Alabama ends up dropping to that number 5 class. But when you think about only signing 20 guys, Alabama really went with quality over quantity in this recruiting class. Man, I don't think you could have really asked for more. They had 4 5-stars, 9 4-stars, 6 3-stars, and also 1 JUCO commit as well. By the way, 18 out of these 20 guys all going to be early enrollees for the Crimson Tide. They'll be joining here in January, I believe it is there. So just another solid recruiting class here in year 2 for Kalen DeBoer. Let's go ahead and break it down, position group by position group here. Kind of funny, Jett Thomalla wasn't actually supposed to have his signing day until Thursday. He said F it this morning and went ahead and signed the papers and sent them out to the Crimson Tide here. So you got him and Tayden Kaawa here in this 2026 recruiting class, and we'll see which guy ends up, being the better quarterback at the end of the day. Really like Jett Thomalla. He set a lot of records for his high school, so very, very excited about those guys. Ezavier Crowell ends up being the only running back signee here for Alabama. By the way, I know, with how good this kid has been, number 1 player out of the state of Alabama. By the way, Alabama signed 3 of the top 4 players in the state of Alabama. Really solid there. This kid was supposed to be in the 2027 recruiting class. So you see right there, number 14 player overall. He worked his way back up into that 5-star category. Another 5-star commitment for the Crimson Tide. Over to the wide receivers / tight ends here because, as we'll get to, had a couple flips from this position group here. Cederian Morgan, for the longest time, was a 5-star. I think he was like the number 2 wide receiver in this class. He has fallen a little bit, but still put up a really, really good year in his senior season. Ends up being the number 40 overall player. Mack Sutter as well. He's listed as a tight end, but, there's a chance here at Alabama they might just end up moving him over, to that wide receiver group. Number 2 player as well out of the state of Illinois. All right, let's go ahead and get to a flip target here for Alabama. Bryson Cooley. Some crazy things have happened to him today. He is currently committed to LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, all in the mix for him right now. But with the coaching changes here at LSU, Lane Kiffin is there now. Still don't really know the entirety of his offensive staff there. A lot of pressure has been put on Bryson Cooley here in the past couple of days, and it seems like he just doesn't really know yet what he wants to do. Was supposed to be making that announcement at about 1 p.m. this afternoon. Has ended up postponing that as of right now. This was the report from Tim Watts of Bama Online on Bryson Cooley. He said he spoke to somebody close to him, and he is confused right now. To what degree, we don't really know. We just know that, he was stressed from the pressure that he was receiving from everybody recruiting him the last 24 hours. The plan is to take some time and regroup and make a decision. Again, that could change. We don't know, those close to him want him to sign early and get behind him. At least one in the corner firmly believe firmly are behind Alabama. So I'll be honest, with all the crazy stuff that happens in recruiting, I think that is a very level-headed approach there from Bryson Cooley, just kind of letting things cool down, pardon the pun there, before he ends up making his decision. So I want to hear from you guys down at the pinned comment of today's video. Where will Bryson Cooley sign? Let me know what you guys think. Type A for Alabama, M for Mississippi State. Back on like November 5th or something like that, On3 actually predicted him to flip from LSU to Mississippi State. So that's also very notable. Committed to LSU right now because Lane Kiffin ended up, going there. Or O for Ole Miss. Let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. All right, some of the other signees here along the offensive line. By the way, Bryson Cooley would be the 5th offensive lineman for Alabama's 2026 recruiting class if he does end up picking the Crimson Tide. You got Chris Booker out of the state of Georgia. Bear Fretwell, fun fact, he's actually on a cruise right now, so really enjoying his signing day to day. Jared Doughty, number 22 offensive tackle in this class, and another JUCO signee here, Tyrell Miller. All right, we will continue here in just a second with the defensive side of the ball. But first, want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's show. That is PrizePicks. It's the holiday season right now. Best time of the year for sports. You have bowl games about to happen. You have basketball matchups right now. You have playoff pushes about to happen. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every single day, what gifts to buy for the family members around the holiday season, what to eat, which games to watch, there's only one place where it feels good to be right. That is on PrizePicks. This is what we've got cooked up. This is my 2-pick power play for this weekend's game against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Going with Gunnar Stockton, more than just a half passing touchdown for him. Look, if Georgia scores, it's solid right there. I mean, a half passing touchdown, might as well pick that there. And Ty Simpson, I think it's going to be another day for Ty Simpson where, he just ends up, finding ways to move the ball downfield and just making the right plays at the right time. So I'm going to go with a more than for him at 1.5 passing touchdowns. One of my favorite features about PrizePicks, by the way, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play where you get paid even if one of your picks misses. But if you want the biggest payouts, go with the power play. No matter how you play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I love how straightforward PrizePicks is. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to calculate my payouts. PrizePicks makes it easy with their payout multipliers. Whether it's just 3x or as big as 2,000x, PrizePicks makes it easy to understand how much I can win. So download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That link, by the way, down in the comment section and the description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, over to the linebackers now, going to Zay Hall out of Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. Nice to have a hometown guy sticking here with Alabama, and also another 5-star signee here with Xavier Griffin. This is definitely one of the best players in Alabama's 2026 recruiting class. I'm very, very excited about him. There's been a lot of buzz and comparisons. Caitlin DeBoer, during his press conference this afternoon, by the way, compared him to a guy like Jahad Campbell. If he can live up to any kind of expectation of Jahad Campbell, whether that's at that Wolf position, maybe they even, in the future move him to that middle linebacker position. You never really know. He's got a lot of position flexibility there. Xavier Griffin is going to be a name to watch, possibly even in his freshman season. All right, over to the edge rushers now. Edge rushers / defensive line. I think the greatest thing about this group of kids right now, same with the defensive line, but I think these 3 guys in particular, Jamarion Matthews, Kamhariyan Johnson, and Malique Franklin, they're going to have a lot of versatility. And Caitlin DeBoer even said in his press conference this afternoon as well, his biggest thing that he likes about these guys is the length and the versatility from them. I think for the most part, Jamarion Matthews, Kamhariyan Johnson, they're probably going to play that bandit position. I don't really know about Malique Franklin. He's a very late addition to this class. He was offered on Monday, committed on Tuesday, and then signed on Wednesday. So, we'll see what they end up doing with them. But I think all 3 of these guys are probably going to end up playing that bandit position here in the future for Kane Womack's defense. So I know in the past, signing day was a very exciting thing. You never really knew what was going to happen. Nobody really, made their commitments, locked down their commitments, as early as they really have been now. You had all the hats on the table, guys committing on ESPN. That's kind of all gone by the wayside at this point. But there have still been some notable, flips around college football. So how exciting was this signing day for you? Scale it for me 1 to 10 down in the comment section. For me, honestly, it's probably like a 3. There wasn't a lot of exciting stuff to happen, but be honest with me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. All right, a couple more defensive linemen here to go for you. I think 2 more guys that could probably end up playing that bandit position. You never know. Position flexibility is something that Alabama really focused on when it comes to this defensive line group. Nolan Wilson, top 100 player. Corey Howard, by the way, was committed to Georgia at one point from the state of Georgia, ends up flipping here to the Crimson Tide. I think, you're probably not going to see many players that look like Tim Keenan on this Kane Womack defensive line. So, you might be thinking to yourself, why no big guys? There's not a lot of big guys in this signing class. I just think that's kind of how it's going to be here as long as Kane Womack is here as Alabama's defensive coordinator. But overall, whether it's those edge rushers, whether it's these 2 guys right here, solid recruiting class and signing class here for Alabama. All right, one of my favorite position groups here is the secondary, whether it's the cornerbacks, whether it's the safeties here. Jordan Edmonds, the number 2 cornerback in this class. This kid just bleeds crimson. By the way, also another player out of the state of Georgia, the number 4 player out of the state of Georgia. I think Kalen DeBoer even said 17 of the 20 signees or something like that. Maybe it was 14 out of the 20 signees are from the South. Everybody said that Kalen DeBoer wasn't going to be able to come to Alabama and recruit in the South. Well, he's proven them wrong at this point. Jaira Edwards, by the way, another 5-star here in the secondary. Number 3 safety, number 4 player out of the state of Maryland. Zion Gibson, number 4 player out of Alabama. By the way, like I said earlier, Alabama signed 3 out of the top 4 players out of the state. The only one that you didn't end up signing was Tank Jones, which he ended up, signing with Oregon, so he didn't, have anything exciting going there. There were some rumors that maybe he would end up flipping to Auburn or something like that here on signing day. Did not happen. So Alabama goes into the state of Alabama where you should, recruit the best, and they end up doing that. By the way, Rael Kelly from Cincinnati, Kane Womack, has talked about the fact that he loves defensive backs from Cincinnati. They got a different kind of grip to them. So, just overall, absolutely love this recruiting class in year 2 now under Kalen DeBoer. All right, we got a couple flips to talk about now. Nobody really surprising, I don't think, if you've been following our coverage here on the Alabama Football Report. Owen Cable was the only one that we had not discussed prior at this point. There was a report from Bama Online this morning that he was not expected to sign in this class. He is from the state of Mississippi, from the state of Tennessee, so he ends up flipping to Vanderbilt and staying there in the hometown. And by the way, has the number 1 quarterback in the country at Vanderbilt now in Jared Curtis. So can't really say I blame him at that point there. A lot of fun stuff happening with Clark Lee. So it is what it is on that one. By the way, all of these guys, 3 stars. So it didn't really hurt you at any point right now. Javari Burnett, going to Illinois, flipping from Illinois to Alabama, and then back to Illinois here on signing day. Brian Williams Jr. ends up flipping to Auburn, and then J.J. Finch was the last one that ended up flipping today. He ends up signing with Tennessee.